Well, welcome everyone to a chat with one of Women's Net's winners of the Amber Grant. Today we're speaking with Stephanie Dean of Step Stitches, who's the Amber Grant winner for January 2021. I'm Marsha Layton Turner, and I'm one of the members of the Women's Net Advisory Board. So Stephanie, thank you so much for chatting with me today. And why don't we start by you telling us about your business, beginning with why you started it.
Okay. Well, it's a pleasure to be here and a pleasure to talk with you today. I started my business very organic. I was doing crafts and all that kind of stuff before, and I made some dolls really by accident, just as a hobby for fun, because I just like to sew, and I was just moving toward that direction. And I made this Raggedy Ann doll. I saw one on Pinterest that I liked, and I was like, "Oh, okay." And I made this Raggedy Ann doll, my own Raggedy Ann version, and I just posted it on Instagram, just for how you do. You post your stuff on
Sure.
Instagram, and I couldn't believe the response. People were like, "I want a doll. I love that," and that was so shocking to me because I figured, who else would want a Raggedy Ann doll? You know what I mean? It's like, so that people would really want such a kind of vintage style doll, and that there was whatever. So, went from there, friends and family and whatever. And I posted it I listed her on Etsy, listed the dolls on Etsy, as I went on. And, it just kind of went from there. So that's where we are.
Do you have one you can show us?
Sure. Yes, I've got them there. Just
Awesome.
sitting here waiting. This is
Oh,
the
adorable.
flagship doll, I guess. The first one that I made here. And so, I think part of the appeal in is that it's a Raggedy Ann, the iconic, Raggedy Ann American classic doll. But it's kind of like a modern twist on her.
Yeah.
She looks more like a kind of like a modern, like I think Raggedy Ann would look today if she was coming along today. So they wear kind of children's
Beautiful.
clothes, what what a little girl might wear. And so then I had a request for a grandparent who had biracial grandchildren. And
Okay.
she asked could I make one that, was a little bit lighter skin tone. So I made this one.
Nice.
Yeah. And then I used to work a person I used to work for asked for more Caucasian dolls. And
Okay.
so I said, well, I always did want to make that classic redhead doll. This is how she would look. So then I
Cute.
came up with this one.
Uh-huh.
And then somebody wanted to know, do you make boys? And I didn't for a long time. It took me a while to get the boy doll the way I wanted him, but then I got the boy. And he comes in all skin
Oh,
tones.
cute.
So they come in 3 different sizes too. And also at Christmas time I started making ornament size dolls. So they're about 10 inches tall.
Uh-huh.
So that's pretty much it.
Wow. So it sounds like you have sort of a product line, but then you also take custom orders. Is that right?
I take kind of more personalized orders. I do put people were asking to put the child's name on the dresses, so I
Oh,
started embroidering the names on the dresses. So I do that. I will, like, I've had people want to send me a specific fabric,
oh,
for that they want to use for the dress for whatever reason. So I've done that. And I, sometimes will try to find a specific fabric if I can. I'll
mm.
do that, for someone who had a request. Someone had a request for a little doll. The girl's name was Sailor.
Mm-hmm.
And so they wanted to know, could I make a doll with the dress? So it had like a sailor theme.
Oh,
So
yeah.
I did find it turned out to be really cute. And I make a doll with the dress that had like little sailboats and put her name on it. So I
Oh,
do kind of personalize them, if I can.
yeah. And so is your Etsy store Step Stitches?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. You could go to Etsy and just type in Step Stitches. You can also type in Cinnamon Annie doll,
Okay.
and she'll come up. You can even type in Raggedy Ann doll. She'll be on the page somewhere.
Oh, great.
but
Okay.
but yeah, the search like that.
Wonderful. Well, so obviously you've been very successful. What do you think has been the secret to your success so far?
I think a couple of things as a business. My first priority is customer service. I try to be as customer service oriented as possible to, do the, try to ship on time, try to be very clear in my listings and, and photographs of, and photography has come along over the years, but, try to be as clear as possible, answer questions as, be polite as possible, and just be, try to do the best I can for for the customer to have a good experience. And I think that's key, particularly in this kind of business, and that's key. And the second thing I think is kind of having a fairly unique product um, that I don't know, just a unique take
Uh-huh.
on a product. And I think that's but as a business, I do think the customer service piece is really, because that's what spreads the word. That's why, that's where you get good reviews. And if you're on a site like Etsy, I'm not on Amazon, but if you're on Amazon or a site like that, reviews are
They
everything.
are. Yeah.
Reviews are everything. And even in real life, they might not type out the review, but of course, I've had people, want to buy a doll based on what someone had told them about it or what they saw. So let's trying to make my dolls as good, as quality as possible.
Hmm.
And then trying to provide good customer service.
Hmm.
So I think that's the secret.
Yeah. So, what made you apply for the Amber Grant? Did you have a particular need in mind when you applied?
I was kind of at the point. Well, I did. I was kind of at the point of wanting to increase production and expand a little bit.
Okay.
And the increased production to keep up with demand. So to do that, to invest in better sewing equipment, basically,
Hmm.
so that I can make a product that's quality in a shorter time. As I, you start off start off with what you can get from the store, kind of cheap equipment to get started, and that's fine. But as you go along and you need better, more, you need to increase production. There's no getting around good equipment. I've learned it makes all the difference in the world. So I want to invest in better sewing machines that will do things quicker with less headache and not having to stop and do this, that, the other. So that kind of thing, even better, scissors, all those kind of things that require an investment, not what you can get from, a big box store, but something that requires a bigger investment. So
Hmm.
that's a chunk. And then I wanted to expand out into uh, writing a book and that type of using the money to using the money to pay for illustrators to writing a book.
Awesome. And so tell me a little bit about, so it sounds like you know exactly how you're going to spend the $10,000 that you won. New sewing equipment, getting some help, and illustrators. And
Right,
anything else that
exactly.
you'll be using it for?
Those are my thing. The other thing is I would like to, when I get the book published, especially, be able to donate books to charities and things like that, um, more than just the one or two books that I could give, out of
Hmm.
my own whatever, but, be able to donate a set of books to an after school program or to a classroom or a school, that has several grades, that kind of thing. So I would like to use a portion of the money for that. And even also dolls. Dolls are a little bit harder because they do take, time to make. But, to maybe make a doll donation to a shelter or someplace like that.
Hmm.
So
Nice.
that will be a portion also.
Yeah. So, looking ahead to the future of your business, it sounds like it's going to continue to consist of dolls and then books. Anything else on the horizon?
Yes, I want to kind of build more of a product line around the dolls, the books, but also like, the shirts with the emblem on them, with the doll's face on them,
Uh-huh.
maybe some Some of the illustrations I'm really excited about in the book because we've already started. We're actually hoping to have that published by the beginning of March. So we're almost finished with the illustrations,
Great.
you know, and um so we can use the illustrations for art prints and things like that.
Mm.
And that's also, as I said, the money will go to that because that it'll allow me to, with the book, to make a coloring book out of the story, that
Oh,
kind of
great.
thing. So yeah,
Exciting.
so so that's why those are my plans for the future, to kind of create a product line out of the dolls. The dolls will stay the center,
Mhm.
because that's what people want. The other things are accessory things, the things that'll help to bring more passive income. I want to add the more of a passive. It's
Mhm.
not real, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's not as labor intensive as the dolls, which are
Mhm.
my passion, and will stay the focus. But this will allow me to bring money in that is a little less labor intensive. I can do it one time and then sell it from there. So
Very smart. Well, do you have any advice for aspiring women entrepreneurs? Maybe anything you've learned along the way that might be helpful for earlier stage entrepreneurs?
um I think earlier stage, really focus on getting, if I can speak mainly from a product perspective, product based business, but really focus on learning. I'm a lifelong learner. So, and I love to read and research and all that kind of stuff. And I think that you really do need to do that as much as possible. However, you learn best, do that. But there's lots of information out there now, even more than when I first started. Lots of information. So, read up as much about how to start a successful business, but don't get caught up in like trends and fads and all this kind of stuff. But just building just a successful business by focusing on making your product or your service the best that you can. Use those early years to like work out the kinks,
Hmm.
uh, work out the kinks with shipping. That's always an issue. Work out the kinks and how you produce your product, that kind of thing. So use the kind of quiet year, so to speak, to kind of build a firm foundation for your business, and learn, um, how you want to market your product, that type of thing. Find some way, the way that's best for you to
Hmm.
market and get out there. But I would say in the beginning, try to learn as much as you can. Um, just keep going. A lot of times it just seems like, oh, it just seems like this is not working. You give up. Sometimes I give up every day. Sometimes but you just keep on going. Just keep on going. And also at the beginning, it's also very important to verify your product as much as you can. Verify that there's a demand for it, that there's a need for it, type of thing. See what the response is, and see, how you can improve it and whatnot. So that's what I would say, because once you really get started going, and you hit that demand, and you hit the sweet spot, you keep moving on, it's kind of harder then to make those kind of
Mm.
changes and to spend a lot of time trying to perfect. You
Yeah.
want to be able to hit the road running because you built a solid foundation.
Hmm.
So that would be my advice.
Makes sense. Thank you so much. So, thank you for sharing your story with the Women's Net community, and congratulations again on being
Thank
the
you.
first Grant winner for 2021.
Right. I just want to, tell the board and Amber Grant. It's something that I've been following for a while, just kind of following it online for a while and whatnot. So it just seemed to be the time to apply. So I went ahead and did it. But just thank you all. Thank you. I'm very, very appreciative, and the work that you all do is so important. It is so important. And so I appreciate it.
Well, thank you so much, Stephanie.